We know what matters.
Now, live from Channel 2 News, complete coverage of Campaign 88. Tonight, the Iowa caucuses. Now, here are Dave Shea and Lori Stevens.
When we return, Dave Town will join us with a cold winter forecast. That's next on this special caucus night edition of the Channel 2 News. Stay with us for more on this special Channel 2 News Caucus Night Report. When we come back, Pete Seifer with sports and a new college hoops poll. We will take a break, and when we come back, more on the 1988 Iowa caucus with Dave Shea and Lori Stevens and the entire Channel 2 News staff. Stay with us.
We'll be back with more in just a moment. That's our Channel 2 coverage of Caucus Night for now.
We're going to Dan Ratherin's CBS coverage in Des Moines next. Then we'll be back with more live local coverage at 11.
Coming up on a special edition of the Channel 2 News.
Voters go to the polls to decide the candidates for governor and Congress.
Another storm brings damage to eastern Iowa.
And a small-town hospital runs out of money. I'm Kristen Dodd.
I'm Pete Seifer. Those stories and all the election results next on a special edition of the Channel 2 News.
This is the Channel 2 News at 10 with Pete Seifer, Kristen Dodd, John Bear Sports, and weather with meteorologist Mark Stroud.
And when we come back, we'll go live again via News Star 2 to Des Moines for more on the Democratic gubernatorial nomination.
Plus, we'll have the rest of the day's news, so stay with us.
The Channel 2 News continues now with a look at today's agribusiness report.
Coming up on a special edition of the Channel 2 News at 6.
Ragbri riders descend on Cedar Rapids, fighting a strong wind.
We'll tell you what the Ragbri stop means for food and beverage vendors along the way.
And we'll take you live to a Rag Bash celebration in Marion. I'm Pete Seifer.
I'm Amy Johnson. Join us as we celebrate Iowa with Ragbri next on the Channel 2 News at 6.
This is the Channel 2 News at 6 with Pete Seifer, Amy Johnson, John Bear Sports, and weather with meteorologist Mark Stroud.
And we're going to have more on all the Ragbri activities here at Norridge Park, also the Rag Bash over in Marion. You're going to show us Tent City tonight.
I'm going to show you Tent City tonight. Thanks for helping us celebrate Iowa live with Ragbri.
We'll see you at 10.
We know what matters.
Now, from the Eastern Iowa news team that knows what matters, this is the Channel 2 News at 6 with Pete Seifer, Kristen Dodd, sports with Tim Swore, and meteorologist Mark Stroud.
We know what matters.
Now, from the Eastern Iowa news team that knows what matters, this is the Channel 2 News at 10.
Ed Caldwell, Channel 2 News.
Sabres highlights against the Canucks tonight at 11.
This is a Channel 2 News update.
Good evening, I'm Allison Rosati. Coming up tonight on Channel 2 News Nightside, we'll take a look at one of the busiest weekends of the year for the Broadway market and whether it can survive the rest of the season on Easter business. Also ahead, a talk with local gun enthusiasts about the state's latest plans to put the clamps on some weapons. Barry will have the first forecast. Wes go forth with sports, plus results of tonight's telepoll on Bruce and the Bucks. all at 11 on Nightside. The first Easter forecast tonight on Nightside.
This is a Channel 2 News update.
Good evening, I'm Don Postles. Coming up tonight on Channel 2 News Nightside, business is booming at the Broadway Market, but can operators get it to last past Easter weekend? We'll check up on this holiday tradition. Also ahead, a story of some musicians making a very special performance to help out one of their former members. Barry has the first forecast for the weekend. Wes with Sabre highlights, all on Nightside tonight at 11.
From your 24-hour news station, this is a Channel 2 News update.
Good evening, I'm Don Postles.
And I'm Lori Lasowski. Coming up tonight on Nightside, friends of former Parks Department Chief Bob Delano get together for a fundraiser in his honor.
Plus, they found freedom in America, and tonight dozens of Soviet Jews said I do for the second time.
And in Health Matters, taking the pain out of going to the dentist.
Join us tonight at 11 on Nightside.
What an inspiring couple. Carol will be back in a moment with our wake-up forecast, but first, here are tonight's winning lottery numbers. Daily numbers of 5, 3, and 7, and win 4 of 1, 2, 6, and 5. Okay, that's it for our 11 o'clock report for this Sunday. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for Sports Extra with your next news at midnight on Channel 2, your 24-hour news station. Have a great week.
When you see news happening, call Newsline 2, 856-2222.
From your 24-hour news station, this is a Channel 2 News update.
You're watching WGRZ TV2, Buffalo, New York. Now, from your 24-hour news station, this is Channel 2 News, Nightside.
Will the weekend be a washout? I'll have details on first weather.
You're watching KDLT. This is KDLT News, complete news from around the area with Ben Goyette and Carolyn Cornish. Exclusive AccuWeather forecast with Bruce Lee. And the latest sports with John Schutz.
You're watching KDLT. This is KDLT News, complete news from around the area with Carson Walker and Denise Anderson. The exclusive AccuWeather forecast with Paige Gores and the latest sports with David Kale.
Channel 5, KRGV TV, Weslaco.
This is an eyewitness news brief.
You're watching KBJR, your 24-hour news channel. News 6, live at 5. With Barbara Riles, Carol Hall's weather, and Mike Berkman with sports. The news starts now. You're watching KBJR, your 24-hour news channel. News 6 at 6. With Michelle Lee, Carol Hall's weather, and Mike Berkman with sports. The news starts now.
will the booms hold? We'll have a report. These stories and much more next on News 6 Nightside.
You're watching KBJR, your 24-hour news channel. News 6 Nightside. With Michelle Lee, Carol Hall's weather, and Tom Hansen with sports. The news starts now.
Now, the Twin Cities' fastest growing television news. News 11 with Paul Majors, Kirsten Lindquist, Jeff Passelt on sports, and meteorologist Paul Douglas. Now, the Twin Cities' fastest growing television news. News 11 with Paul Majors, Diana Pierce, Tom Reiter on sports, and meteorologist Paul Douglas. Now, the Twin Cities' fastest growing television news. News 11 with Paul Majors, Diana Pierce, Tom Reiter on sports, and meteorologist Paul Douglas. City's fastest growing television news. News 11 with Paul Majors, Diana Pierce, Tom Reiter on sports, and meteorologist Paul Douglas. The Twin Cities' fastest growing television news. News 11 with Joan Steffen, Kevin McDowell, Randy Shaver on sports, and meteorologist Sally Patrick. Twin Cities' most watched newscast, News 11. With Joan Steffen, Kevin McDowell, Randy Shaver on sports, and meteorologist Dennis Felkin. City's most watched newscast, KARE 11 News, with Joan Steffen, Kevin McDowell, Randy Shaver on sports, and meteorologist Ellen Ferrara.
KVAL TV Eugene. From the combined newsrooms in Eugene, Roseburg, and Coos Bay, this is Northwest News.
Just ahead on News 13, investigators say local air traffic controllers made mistakes
that led to a fatal plane crash. While a new report says our local roads and bridges are crumbling around us. Consumer reporter Diane Estabrook has a story you'll want to see if you're thinking about buying a used car. And we'll meet a man who hopes to complete an ultralight flight across the North Atlantic. The full report straight ahead on News 13.
Now, from WNYT. News that matters. With Ed Degg, Chris Kapistashi, meteorologist Bob Kovacic, and Bob McNamara with sports. This is News 13.
Good evening. Ed has the night off.
Just ahead on News 13, a live report from the scene of a huge fire burning right now in Coos. Also an interview with the man who pulled a woman from a burning building today in Colony.
We'll have a live report from the North Country where searchers may have located the body of a missing hiker. And in our News That Matters segment, we'll tell you why environmentalists want to burn parts of Albany's pine bush. The full report is straight ahead on News 13. The governor says state layoffs are coming. Last night we looked at the impact on workers. Tonight we're going to look at the impact on the local economy.
Also coming up tonight, the Life You Save series. Tonight we're going to look at the do's and the don'ts of head and neck injuries.
News 13 is sponsored in part by the Capital Region Honda dealers, the people behind your Honda.
Kind of a weather seminar coming up, another installment of Ask Bob.
He'll also have the complete forecast right after this break.
Mac is up next.
You like him too? Yeah. Yes. He's got today's sports report, including a close-up look at Siena recruiting. Should be lots more coming up next with Tom Brokaw on NBC Nightly News, and we are back here at 11 o'clock.
See you then. Have a good night.
Just ahead on News 13 tonight, 3 people are dead after a bus full of mentally handicapped patients overturns in Dutchess County. And an inspection pulls buses off the road in Pittsfield, Massachusetts.
Coos is still smoldering. We'll have more on a possible cause for last night's devastating fire. Those stories, much more, all straight ahead here on News 13 tonight.
Now, from WNYT. News for the Capital Region. With Ed Degg, Chris Kapistashi, Bob McNamara on sports, and meteorologist Bob Kovacic. This is News 13 tonight.
When we come back, Bob Kovacic will have your first look at the weather, and then later on in this newscast, we'll bring you Saratoga Springs action tonight on the KDLT Ch Carousel.
News 13 tonight, sponsored in part by BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll bring you the latest shakeup in Edwin Meese's office and the latest on the KDLT Ch Carousel story. In sports, the Celtics against the Hawks again tonight in Atlanta, and Mac will have highlights of that. He'll also have some big news concerning Bobby Knight, Mets, and Yankees action all next.
Because we're going to take a break and come back and tell you everything you always wanted to know about vacationing in the Okefenokee Swamp, and undoubtedly some things you don't want to know.
That's exactly what you were thinking.
No.
It is.
See you tomorrow.
Have a good night. We'll be here tomorrow night at 6.
Just ahead on News 13 tonight, the answer is no to a subpoena of Tawana Brawley's mother. A strange new twist to a shooting spree in an Illinois school, and things are picking up in Schenectady. Norm says the weather picture is looking better, and Roger says a star has risen. It's all next, so stay with us.
From WNYT, news for the Capital Region. With Joe Moskowitz, Roger Weiland on sports, and meteorologist Norm Sebastian. This is News 13 tonight.
Up next, Norm with a first look at the weather, and a little later, local AIDS education draws little interest. Coming up on News 13 tonight, Schenectady residents pick up the pieces. Still ahead tonight in sports, Roger Weiland is next with highlights from the Preakness NBA playoff action, plus the A's and the Yankees from the Bronx.
Just ahead on News 13 tonight, the latest on the coup attempt underway in the Philippines. Late reports indicate it is far from over. We'll have a report from Manila.
Also tonight, a 2-alarm fire in the city of Rensselaer. We will have pictures from the scene. And was the crane operator drinking when his rig collapsed in San Francisco? That's a possibility tonight. Bob will have the forecast. Mac will have the Knicks, and the full report is straight ahead on News 13 tonight.
Now, from WNYT, news for the Capital Region. This is News 13 tonight.
Good evening. The Philippine government is under siege tonight.
Albany. Ahead on News 13 tonight, Bob will have details of the snow that landed in Albany earlier tonight and tell us if perhaps spring is right around the corner.
But not everything's in Albany. Later on, the Navy still picking up the pieces. Another jet has gone down.
News 13 tonight is sponsored in part by Midway Airlines. 400 flights a day to over 50 cities.
Bob. Still to come, News 13 tonight, we will show you the crash of a Navy jet.
And some new and very disturbing information about the San Francisco crane accident.
Good evening, I'm Randy Salerno. Here's a look at what's coming up on News 13 tonight. We'll bring you details on a Green Island brawl that turned into murder. We'll tell you what President Bush has to say about the latest threat from Saddam Hussein. And we'll put you in a television time machine and show you Schuylerville 200 years ago. Here's Roger.
Randy, horse racing analyst John Preachy from Newsday as my guest tonight at Big Board Sports. All of that plus baseball petted races.
A full report including Arnie's weather on News 13 tonight.
Arnie Rosen, tonight at 11.
Just ahead on News 13 tonight, Iraqi Saddam Hussein wants U.S. troops out of the Gulf and offers George Bush a deal, but the president flatly rejects it. We'll show you why. We will also have the latest from Green Island, where an early morning fight left one man dead. Arnie says the weather stays hot. Roger says the Mets stay in first. It's all up next on News 13 tonight.
Now, from WNYT, news that matters. With Randy Salerno, meteorologist Arnie Rosen, and Roger Weiland with sports. This is News 13 tonight. Bob McNamara, tonight at 11.
Coming up in a few minutes on News 13 tonight, we'll show you some of the damage caused by tonight's storms. Glens Falls, hardest hit, trees and power lines down. We'll also have the latest from the Persian Gulf, power troubles on Wall Street, an area murder investigation, and we'll see whether the heavy rain tonight dampens some of the enthusiasm for the Eric Clapton show. Bob will have the weather.
All right, the weather picture, showers and storms moving out of here. We get the sun back tomorrow, a couple of good days. More on that later.
Join us for the full report. News, sports, weather tonight, 11 o'clock. Just ahead on News 13 tonight, heavy rains barrel through the capital region, downing trees and power lines and rattling a lot of nerves. Woodstock, 21 years later, some want another reunion. The people of the town, though, play another tune. And from the Gulf, U.S. warships turn away food from Iraq. Full report straight ahead on News 13 tonight.
Now, from WNYT, News That Matters. With Ed Degg, Chris Kopostachy, meteorologist Bob Kovacic, and Bob McNamara with sports. This is News 13 Tonight.
Good evening. Chris has the night off.
Chris Kopostachy, tonight at 6 on News 13.
Coming up on News 13 tonight, a tragic thruway crash leaves area residents in fear of explosion and toxic contamination. We will have the latest.
And the arrival of a controversial movie brings a tempest of protest to the capital region. Full report tonight, 11 o'clock.
Sports with Roger Wyland, tonight at 11 on News 13.
Coming up on News 13 tonight, the move toward democracy in the Soviet Union continues by leaps and bounds. We'll have an update for you. We'll also show you why protesters were outside of the president's vacation home today. And on this last Sunday at the track, some are saying the 5-week meet is here to stay. Here's Roger with sports.
All right, John, we'll have results from the next to the last day of the racing meet in Saratoga, plus the men's and women's final from the OTB Open in Schenectady.
All that and much more tonight at 11:15.
Good evening. Just under 45 minutes, we'll have full details about a fire in the new Albany County Civic Center this evening. Officials think the blaze started in a compressor at the top of the new Knickerbocker Arena.
Of course, the weather is terrible for fighting fires or doing almost any outdoor activity. Bob will tell us not to expect relief very soon.
Certainly not right away, Chris. It's now 3 below, heading for 10 below. That's it.
Join us tonight at 11.
This news brief is sponsored by Price Chopper.
The war in the Persian Gulf has affected all of us, but it has been especially tough on those who have friends or family in the war zone. That's why News 13 has been bringing you Operation Global Search. By using our newsroom computer, we're able to find information about people from the capital region serving in military units and on naval vessels in the Gulf. Then we report what we've learned during every newscast. Operation Global Search is just one way News 13 is bringing you the most complete local coverage of the Gulf War.
On News 13 tonight, will Berkshire's residents have a place to shop come March 2nd? We'll take a look at the controversy surrounding the opening of the Berkshire Mall.
Also tonight, the latest in a Dutchess County racial assault case and a possible parking scam in the area, and it's all later tonight.
Join Bob McNamara tonight on News 13.
Coming up on News 13 tonight, President Reagan goes before the press, and the nation will have details on his first press conference of this year.
The Supreme Court rules on Jerry Falwell's suit against Hustler, and Berkshire residents may have to wait for a new shopping mall. Now here's Herb.
The cold air that came to town last night and became firmly entrenched today seems to like it in the Northeast. It's going to be here for a while.
Full details in our full report coming up at about 11:35 tonight.
Join Roger Wyland tonight on News 13.
Good evening. Here's a look at what's coming up on News 13 tonight. Fire ripped through a discotheque in Spain with deadly fumes killing 43 people. Several hundred area residents gathered in Schenectady today to remember the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. His birthday is officially observed tomorrow. And after 50 years of service, an area priest is calling it quits. Here's Roger.
Thank you, Randy. Championship Sunday in the National Football League. On Big Board tonight, we'll have highlights from both the AFC and the NFC championship games.
We'll have a full report tonight at 11. Just ahead on News 13 tonight, there is more trouble for Mikhail Gorbachev. Ethnic fighting in one Soviet republic and political uprising in another. We'll have the full report. In Schenectady, they gathered to remember Martin Luther King Jr. today, the man and his dream. And in Albany, after 50 years of faithful service, a community says goodbye to its priest. Arnie says the clouds will stay with us another day. Roger says the Angels were smiling on the 49ers. It all next on News 13 tonight.
Now, from WNYT. News for the Capital Region. This is News 13 Tonight.
When the job is forecasting weather for the capital region, experience matters. News 13's Bob Kovacic has predicted the weather for our area longer than any other meteorologist ever. As a result, he knows the quirks in our weather patterns better than anyone. And Bob knows how important a friendly, no-nonsense forecast is when you're trying to cope with winter. So if experience makes the difference, then turn to Bob KVAL, the Capital Region's most experienced meteorologist, only on News 13.
The big stories are there for anyone to break, but the difference is the time and care we take. You're the ones who really matter as we share the news we gather. We know what matters.
The condition of the state's roads and bridges is once again in the news. A public information group has come out with a report that is critical of the amount of money being spent to improve roads and bridges. I'm Elaine Houston with the News 13 Money Matters report, and tonight we'll tell you why this group says that you should be concerned.
Coming up on News 13 tonight, prisoners riot at the Great Meadow Correctional Facility in Washington County. We'll have the latest on developments there. Residents of Kingston take to the streets in protest of drugs in their community, particularly at one bar. And the call for help is out in Glenville as a firefighter's home is hit by flames. Norm will have the latest on the heat wave. Roger Big Board Sports. It all starts at 11. Join us then.
This news brief is sponsored by Price Chopper.
Just ahead on News 13 tonight, there was a riot at a prison in Washington County. We'll have the latest on the situation there. There was marching in the streets of Kingston today. Residents upset about the drug problem and one bar in particular. And a shocking congressional report about discrimination against blacks in the airline industry. Norm with a first look at Heat Wave 3, the movie, Roger, and the Red Hot Red Sox. It all starts next, so stay with us.
Join Chris Kapostashi tonight on News 13.
Coming up, News 13 tonight, President Bush makes a push for millions of dollars in humanitarian aid for the Nicaraguan rebels. We'll have reaction to the move. One of the largest mass arrests in Capital Region history. Anti-abortionists marched in the capital city today. We'll have the latest details on the arrest and on where authorities are going to put the prisoners. And old man winter seems to be creeping up on us, Norm.
Higher elevations at as much as a half a foot. Some locations even more than that, especially above 1,000 feet. But I promise you, a great Easter with a lot of sun and temperatures as much as 15 to 20 degrees above normal. I'm not going back.
Join us tonight at 11 o'clock.
The big stories are there for anyone to break, but the difference is the time and care we take. You're the ones who really matter as we share the news we gather. We know what matters.
Randy Salerno tonight at 11.
On News 13 tonight, the latest on the investigation of the devastating Coos fire.
Also look at why Attorney General Ed Meese fired his PR man. Join us at 11.
This news brief is sponsored by Price Chopper.
Each week for the past 3 years, we've met a special kid from a single-parent home during the Monday's Child segment of our newscast. Each one's been different. Boys and girls of all backgrounds with one thing in common, their desire to be placed with a big brother or big sister. Thanks to our viewers, Monday's Child has been a tremendous success. Maybe you can help too. Tune in to News 13 on any Monday to find out how.
Every day, the issues that concern you most on News 13, news that matters. Ed Degg, tonight at 6.
Good evening. Coming up on News 13 tonight, Thanksgiving means different things to different people. We'll show you how people celebrated the holiday around here and throughout the country. Meanwhile, a Soviet spokesman today praised President Bush's Thanksgiving message, calling it a doorway to broad and open cooperation. It looks like striking 9X workers will be back on the job soon, just as Eastern Airline machinists prepare to walk the picket line alone. Bob KVAL will have your holiday forecast, and John Gray, the day in sports. Join us tonight at 11.
Join Ed Degg tonight on News 13. This is News 13 at noon. Join Benita Zahn, Ed Laskos, and Norm Sebastian for News 13 at noon, weekdays on TV 13.
News from the time you wake up until the time you go to bed.
The cheapest way to treat a cold in my next report.
You're watching Channel 13 WTHR, Indiana's news channel.
Good evening, I'm Tom Cochran.
And I'm Ann Ryder.
Here's what's making news tonight. Crews get their trucks in gear ready. Citizens also prepare for snow and wind.
The Mike Tyson media circus begins with a suspicious phone survey, even before his rape trial begins.
And Allison Gilman's Health Beat talks with the Second Lady about her first health priority.
Live from Indiana's news channel, this is News Center 13 tonight.
Are you in the market for a personal computer? I'm Linda Ellsrop, only on News Center 13 Sunrise tomorrow morning at 6. We'll tell you about a drop in computer prices designed to save you money.
News Center 13 Sunrise is closed captioned for the hearing impaired. Live from the heart of Indiana, Bruce Kahn, Linda Ellsrop, Chuck Lofton's exclusive AccuWeather, and Captain Paul Casey's Chopper 13 traffic reports. This is News Center 13 Sunrise.
Live from the heart of Indiana, this is News Center 13 at 6 o'clock with Tom Cochran, Ann Ryder, Bob Gregory's exclusive AccuWeather, and Don Hines Sports. The news starts now. This is News Center 13 prime time at 10 o'clock with your exclusive weekend AccuWeather forecast and the Saturday Sports Final. The news starts now.
The last person to talk to him was at 9 o'clock.
Live from the heart of Indiana, Tom Cochran, Ann Ryder, Bob Gregory's exclusive AccuWeather, Don Hines Sports Final, and Ronnie Duncan's Sports Spotlight. This is News Center 13 tonight. The news starts now.
Number 1 at 6:30 a.m., News 25 Today. Number 1 at 5, Live at 5. Number 1 at 6, News 25. Number 1 at 10, News 25 Nightside. WEEK is Central Illinois' news channel from sign-on to sign-off. Christine Zach, only on Central Illinois' news channel.
Complete baseball action is back. Catch it on 25 Sports.
I'm Laurie Penco. Tonight on Nightcast, there will be school tomorrow in the Bristol Local District. That decision from the board tonight as the 5-week-old teacher strike continues. Youngstown City Council tonight said no to supplying city water to a New York-based vitamin company, one that wants to build in North Jackson. Crews have been working all day long to clean up a chemical spill inside a Newcastle business, and they'll be back tomorrow. And in sports, highlights of West Middlesex in Pennsylvania State playoff action. Join us tonight at 11 o'clock.
This is WYTV, Channel 33, Youngstown, Ohio. From the Valley's news station, 33 Eyewitness News. Len Rome, Stacia Erdis, Stan Boney, First Weather, and Bob Hannon with Big Board Sports. This is Night. This is WYTV Channel 33, your 24-hour news source. From the Valley's fastest-growing news station, 33 Eyewitness News. Pat Alexander, Susan DeLeo, and Steve Fortunato with Big Board Sports. This is the Weekend Report.
News Source 33 Eyewitness News continues.